I am back. Let's start that. I rebranded my entire channel. I used to have a channel a few years ago, so some of you probably remember that because I still have a following, so I'm sure some of you might remember me, but it's been probably a few years. I privated all my old content. I decided that I wanted to have a fresh start. A lot of things have changed in my life since then, and I had a couple big setbacks, I would say. So now I am on my new path, and I was like, you know what? Let's bring it back. I don't have my glasses on right now, but so if I'm like, what am I doing? It's because I can't see. But yeah, I decided to just have a fresh start, fresh channel, everything new, because I don't want to have to go back on some of that and some of my memories and stuff. That is my dog Meatball. I think my last few videos, Meatball may have been featured. He was probably just like this tiny little puppy back then, and now he's 5. he's a big boy now, and yeah. Come here, Meatball. I will show you Meatball. Look how big he is. He's so big. My little big pug dog. Yes. Good boy. So, yeah, I've had a lot of life changes happen, so I'm starting over. And now I'm ready to just talk about books. I have been doing so much reading. This year I'm already off to a really good start. I've been really focused on my reading and dedicated to it. It's probably my favorite thing to do. And now that I'm working, and well, right now I'm not, unfortunately. I work construction, but since when I'm at work and I'm like just off in my own little world, I have my headphones in and I can just listen to books. So I listen to a ton of audiobooks. I almost always have something on my audio at all times. And since I haven't been working, I've been reading more physical books. But I've been getting a lot, I feel like, I want to say a lot because I've seen people with like 20 books at the end of the month, 30 books at the end of the month. But for me, this is a lot. I didn't hit last year's goal, which kind of sucked. I don't even think I said what my name is. I'm Angie, by the way. But yeah, I don't remember what I ended up with last year. My goal was to hit 75, and I think I was somewhere around 60. So this year I made my goal 65. So I know this year I made my goal a little more than what I actually read last year. So because I wanted it to be achievable, especially with the way things have been kind of hectic with my life. So I was like, let me just make it something that's pretty achievable. Since like I said, I read probably around 60 last year. But this year I might be on track to hit a bigger number. So that would be really awesome. I have a little paper of what I wanted to talk about. I did name my channel Books&Beer. So I do like that idea because what do I do when I read my book? I drink beer. And so I thought, and I'm on the Winking Lizard beer tour. So I've been bringing my books to the bar, having a new beer, and reading my book at the bar. And it's been a very pleasant experience. Like, there was a day I got off a little early. I was done around 1 o'clock, ran up to the Lizard, had a beer real quick, read my book. And it's just relaxing, and it's a good time. And so that way, I thought of some fun ideas for some series I could do. So I was going to do like positive book reviews. I was going to probably call those cheers. And it'll be like, celebrating the book with my beers. And this time I do have a new one to try. I did get this at the Lizard to go. So I always have something at the ready. Because I am trying to hit my Winking Lizard beer tour. I want the jacket. I want to earn my jacket this year. I don't know what else I have as a reading goals as far as that. I have my planner. I always have my Little Inklings planner. I still do those. So I don't know if I put in here, my goal page, what all I really wanted to do as far as reading goes. More so just, use my planner and do the reading challenges that I set out to do, which I pretty well do the same ones as everybody else in every year. So with the buzzword, and this year we have a buzz cover, which is pretty exciting. That one I'm not as determined to do. That's kind of just like on the side. If I get it, that would be awesome if I can hit that. But it's not like a priority like reading challenge for me. I'd rather hit like the actual buzzword challenge and like my always fully booked challenge and my A through Z challenge. Those I think I'm more dedicated to. I'd like to get some of the other ones, but they're not like as intense. I also have a bingo this year and like a romance trope bingo because that's what I've been reading mostly now. So my reading has changed a lot since I've had the channel back. When was that? God, a few years ago. But my reading has changed a ton. And I will say I have definitely started giving up on, I don't want to say giving up, but I've stopped reading so much YA. I used to read a ton of young adult, and I don't know if I just eventually grew out of it, but I found romance. And then I think that was kind of around when I stopped making videos, was when I was discovering Tessa Bailey and the Bromance Book Club, which I still love the Bromance Book Club series. That holds very true to my heart. I love that series. So I got really into romance for a while there. And I started off with like the fluffier stuff, but now I have found where I belong. I found Haunting Adeline, and it changed the course of my life. It changed everything. It is probably one of my favorite books of all time at this point. And I know it's very controversial. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I loved it. I loved everything about that book. And now I've been on my journey with dark romance to find more like it. I loved it so much. Last year, that was my favorite book last year. I actually should have grabbed my last year's planner and I could have looked at what my top books last year were. But I know that was one of them. I know Now You're Mine was one of them, which was Morgan Bridges. I know, what was the other one? I was just thinking. Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas was a big one for me last year. I really loved it. That one had some stuff that was like unrealistic and stupid, but it made me laugh and smile so much that I was like, I don't care. I made it kind of even better. It's just so corny. But yeah, I've been loving dark romance. I still love thrillers a lot. I'd say that's what I've been gravitating towards the most these days, but I still do read pretty much a little bit of everything, and I try to stay, open to new things and trying new things. And I do have a book video that I'd like to make about books my coworkers recommend, because believe it or not, quite a bit of my coworkers read and they listen to audiobooks at work and stuff, and they've all had some pretty funny, pretty new recommendations that I cannot wait to get into. Some of them I have seen mentioned online, but that's a plan for the future. Hopefully I need to get a couple more recommendations from people before I actually make that video. And I would like to see if they would like do a little clip in it or something, because I think it would be fun. I also thought I would go over, I just kind of put it all in one video since I don't want to make a million videos, and I thought it'd be kind of silly too. But I have my January wrap-up books right here, and then the books that I plan to read in February. So let me just open this real quick, because I want to be, we gotta try the new one too. This is a Troges, I don't know, Grand Cocoa. It's a chocolate stout. It's apparently supposed to taste like a hot chocolate, but obviously not hot, but that's supposed to be the flavor on it. It just tastes like a regular chocolate stout. Sam Smith has a chocolate stout that's so good. That's probably my favorite one as far as stouts go. And oh, there was also a Snickers one. If any of you are on the Winking Lizard beer tour, you got to get your hands on that. It's like a caramel cookie stout by Southern Tier. So good. So if any of you guys are doing the beer tour, let me know. And let me know what you guys are recommending, what you guys are drinking. Oh, and this is the one I finished. I finished a book today too, actually. Okay. I'll start. Ooh. I'll do it this way. I have my reviews here too for all the books that I read. I ended up reading 8 books in January, which I feel like was a lot for me. Except for the year I did, what was that? They don't make it anymore. It used to be a challenge and I loved it, and they took it away from us. Booktubeathon. I loved Booktubeathon, and then they took it away. which was kind of disappointing, but it's gone now. But it used to be like one book a day for 7 days, and I ended up doing it. I did have like a graphic novel in there. I had a couple to kind of help the load because it is a lot to read in 7 days. But at the time, I was a stay-at-home wife, so all I did was sit and read. But now I'm a functioning member of society, unfortunately. But this is what I ended up reading for the month of January. I started the month off with Caught Up, which is the sequel to Lights Out, which I love. There's going to be a third one too, but I love, so that's why I read it. Oh my God, I'm like ADHD all over the place today. But I loved Lights Out. I loved it so much. It was one of my favorites last year. It was so, so good. So I was like, okay, I pre-ordered my special edition with the sprayed edges and everything, because I'm like, I'm gonna love it, and it's gonna be so beautiful, it's gonna be perfect. And I was wrong. I was very, very wrong, and I was very, very disappointed, because not only do I have both books as physical, I have them both on my Audible. And yeah, it was just, this was severely disappointing for a book last year that was one of my top picks. It was probably in my top 5 last year. I loved it so much. And it's one of those dark romance, stalker romance concepts, okay? And so I was like, oh my God, Caught Up is going to be just as good. I expected so much from this. And I was so disappointed. I think that this was, I don't know if she rushed writing this. It's by Navesa Allen. I don't know if she rushed writing this. I don't know what really went wrong here. But basically, this is like Nico Troche. He goes by Junior, and he knows that the girl that he's interested in is off limits, and the same, he's in the mafia, whatever, romance, whatever. He's kind of stalking her, the usual. But this girl was absolutely awful. I could not stand her. And not only that, I feel like you don't see much of Junior's relationship with the mafia. You don't get much of his background. All you're really getting is that this girl is a brat. She's god awful. Her friends are even worse. And I was like, can this please just be over? I was so disappointed. Game On is the 3rd book, and I think it's going to be the last book in the series, and it comes out this year. And I'm going to still read it. I'm probably still going to pre-order it so it looks pretty on my shelf with the other ones. And I have much higher expectations for that, and I'm really hoping that she redeems herself with that one, and that maybe this was just a fluke. That's what I'm hoping for. I felt there was absolutely no chemistry between the characters in this, and I think that there were things thrown in here just for the shock value, for political jargon, and I was so irritated because they put so much political stuff in here that didn't need to be there. I'm not reading this for politics. I'm reading this for a dark stalker romance. I keep the politics out of my romance, please. That's all I ask. And I don't even know if I actually fully stated the full background. I know that, I don't want to give anything away, so I'm like trying to be mindful. But they did have a past together. They went to high school together. It's a second chance romance. But like I said, there was a lot of political BS in here. And there was, I don't think this is spoiling anything because it's right off the bat. There's a lot of sex talk. And it's to the point where it just was kind of thrown in there just to be there. Like, it felt worthless, to be honest with you. It added absolutely no substance to the story. All it did was piss me off. I was so, like, I know this is like kind of a big rant on this, but I also, when I looked at reviews online of this after I finished it, because I was like, no way I didn't like it, no way. So I went on Goodreads, and I saw what everybody else had been saying about it, and saw that they too were unhappy with it. So that was really disappointing, and I really hope Game On is better. Because like I said, 5 stars, top tier was Lights Out. I even thought about getting a second edition of it because they came out with another cover, and I was like, well, obviously I need the other one for my shelves. I thought about getting so many Lights Out, like just fan pieces, because I loved Lights Out. So that was probably my most disappointing book so far of life, really. That really it really hit me where it hurt, okay? It really hurt. This one I don't actually have the physical copy of, but I read The Housemaid. so that I could go see the movie, and I loved it. So at least we're redeeming ourselves, all right? I listened to The Housemaid, and I loved it. I loved it. I see why it's getting so much praise. I see why everybody loves it so much. It was fantastic. I didn't know what was coming next. It's a thriller book. So basically, I don't know if, I'm sure most of you have heard of The Housemaid by now, but basically the story follows a woman named Millie, who we don't really know much of her background in the beginning. All we know is she's going to apply for this job as a housemaid. And this family was looking into her, and they give her the job, and it's a live-in position, so she gets to live with them. And then it just kind of weird things start to become noticeable, and she's like, well, what's that about? That's kind of strange. And it takes some turns that you would never expect. It was so good. So she's just hired to do this cleaning, and then next thing you know, things, and it was very slow too, because that, I think that's part of why it ended up being so good, because it was slow, and you're like, oh, where's she going with this? It's by Frida McFadden, but it's like, where is McFadden going with this? What is going to happen? Because it doesn't seem like anything is really that big that's going to happen. You're just like, oh, that's kind of odd. That's kind of like, you're not like, oh my God, that's weird. That's crazy. No, it's, well, that's a little weird. Oh, well, that's a little weird too. And then it just slowly progresses. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Caught me off guard. I know there were some people that weren't as shocked by the course of it. I enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. So that one I really enjoyed this year. And then this one was very, very good as well. So I had another 5-star right after. So I feel like that makes up for it. For that caught up was Mercy by Sarah Kate. This is another dark romance. You're gonna see a lot of those on my channel, so I'm gonna warn you now. I read a lot of dark romance. This is the 4th book in the Salacious Players Club series. That is the Praise. I don't know if anyone heard Praise, but that series. And they're very, very dirty books, I'll admit. But they're very good. They're very well written. The characters are very well developed. They're fantastic. This one follows, so in the first book you follow, oh my God, what was his name? Emerson. You follow Emerson Grant, and I cannot remember the girl's name, but this book follows Emerson's son, Grant, who also ended up being the ex-boyfriend of Emerson's girlfriend or whatever. You figure that out in the first book. This isn't spoiling anything. That's the first book follows Emerson and Bo Grant. That's his name. So I was like, Grant, Emerson Grant, Bo Grant. Okay. So Bo is the ex-boyfriend of Emerson and whatever her name was. I cannot remember for the life of me. But in the first book, Anyway, Bo, it follows him, and he likes Maggie. She's one of the owners of the club, Salacious. So she's one of the owners there. She's friends with his dad, Emerson. And it's just kind of like, it's a whole different perspective. This is very naughty. So I'm like trying to figure out how to say this, but I think I'm just going to do it. But basically, Maggie and Bo both end up taking a quiz, because Salacious Players Club, they have an app, and you take the sex quiz to find out what your kinks are and match you up with somebody who has the same tastes as you. And this is where Bo finds out that he is a brat, and Maggie finds out that she is a brat tamer. She is a dom, so she, this is just, her being in charge of him. It's definitely different to see, because you don't really, I feel like, see that in a lot of romance books. And so it's really cool to have a woman in charge. She's running the show, and it was really awesome. There were some scenes I really didn't expect. And it was very funny. There were a lot of lines that were funny, a lot of good quotes in here. But their relationship felt so genuine, so well developed as they grow together, because they're both new to dating, and like, he's not as new to dating, she more so is, she's always kind of kept to herself, very quiet woman. And he, you know, he's a little bit of a player, but he never really had a true connection because he never really experienced things and never delved into that side of himself. And so it was really, really honestly great. I loved watching it. I loved the scenes. I loved it. I thought it was very passionate. I was laughing. I was smiling. I thought it was great. But like I said, this one is more on the naughty side. But I think that's how a lot of Sarah Kate's books are. I've read, who are the other ones? I read, obviously, the other three in the series. But then I also read, I think the first book, I think it's called The Good Brothers. I think it was called The Anti-Hero. So I read that one. And she has another one coming out this year, Promise Me. It's the sequel to Keep Me, which I read Keep Me. I don't remember it as well, but I know I read it. I think that was, I want to say that was when the one girl went off to Ireland. I want to say she was in Ireland, and she was kind of like a bad girl. She broke into a house, something like that. That one I didn't like as much as the Salacious Players series. So far, that's my favorite of Sarah Kate's, but it's all really good. And then I read, this book I don't have a physical copy of. It is a thriller, so now we're into another thriller. It was Before He Finds Her by Michael Cardos. This one I picked up because I needed a book for the challenge for my buzzword for January. And I was like, because the word was before or after. And this book I found on my TBR. So I just went to my Goodreads and I clicked on my want to read list. And it was one of the first ones and it was one of the oldest ones. I went to things that have been sitting on my want to read list for 8 billion years. And this was one of the first ones that came up with the word before or after in it. So I was like, perfect, that one has before in it. Apparently it's been on my want to read for a very long time. And I believe it was at the suggestion of Peter Mon, who I still love to this day. I still follow to this day. But I believe he was the one who read this and recommended it. And I don't really remember very much. Oh yeah, I do have it written here that it was Peter Mon who was the one who ended up getting this onto my want to read list. And I wish this was more memorable, but all I really remember was a girl goes missing and you're following like this girl who's like living off the grid because she was the missing girl and she isn't allowed to like do anything. She can't be seen. She can't do anything she really wants to do because she's not allowed to get seen because her father could still be out there trying to find her and murder her because her father allegedly murdered her mother. And that's kind of like how it starts. So I will say, I don't know if this is just because we've had so many thrillers come out since then, because this was recommended by Peter Mon a few years ago, and this did come out in 2015. So this is a little bit, oh my God, it's like 11 years old. Yeah, 11 years old, my goodness. That happened fast. I don't want to think about it, but this book is 11 years old. So we've had obviously a lot of thrillers come out since then. So I'm like, maybe at the time when this was released, this was like groundbreaking. This was like, wow, I didn't expect that. I didn't see that. But because I've read so many thrillers since this, I think that it just didn't hold up for me. And I don't know if it's just because it didn't hold up to time, because I found it to be pretty predictable and pretty average. But like I said, maybe when it released, it wasn't. But as of right now, I was kind of disappointed by it. I have to move fast because I know I don't have much time. Then I read Depraved Devotion by Morgan Bridges. Obviously, because I liked her other books, which I mentioned already. This is the first book in a new series she's coming out with. It's the Villains and Vices. That one, I think we're getting a second one in April, maybe? Oh my goodness, I don't have much time. I found this was a very unique story. So basically, this is a woman. Oh, this was so good. That's right, this was good. I gave it 4 stars. This followed a woman who, basically, she's a, what do they call that? A counselor. And she follows this guy, Ghost, and she has to like interview him because he will only speak to her. He's a killer and he killed in front of people, like just right there. And she's the only one he will speak to. He's like, I don't want to talk to anybody about my crimes and what I've done. I will only speak to Geneva. I think that's how you say her name. But he would only speak to her, and it's dark romance. So he's like obsessed with her, and he's like, I only want to talk to her. I will only see her. She is the only person that he wants. And it was very well developed, a super unique story. I was laughing because Ghost ends up being pretty funny and chaotic, and I really like his energy. I wish we got a little more of Ghost's background, but overall it was a blast, and I really can't wait for the next book to come out. So that was fantastic. I really liked that one. And then I read, this one was another 5-star. So it was a really great month, but it was Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. This I felt was very Lolita inspired. I've never read Lolita, but from my understanding of what Lolita was, I think this was inspired by it. I think this captures a lot of difficulties on becoming a woman and womanhood in general. And I feel like a lot of women could relate to this. I think this was very poignant. I think this had a lot to touch on and very relatable in the battles that we face as women and beauty standards and all this like BS that we have to put up with. I thought it was really great. It was very well written. The characters were very well developed. It follows Waldo, and she's just this like, a teenager. She's pretty well your classic teenage girl, and I don't want to read the whole thing inside synopsis, but basically she ends up having a crush on Mr. Krogi, her teacher, and I don't want to give anything away, but she's basically obsessed with Mr. Krogi, and it just kind of develops from there. But yeah, this was very, very good. Very, very good. I know that I believe Jeanette McCurdy plans on releasing more books in the future, and I will pick up anything that this woman writes. I loved I'm Glad My Mom Died. I loved it. That was a 5-star for me. I remember when that came out, and I will pick up anything she writes because I think she's a genius. She's a very smart woman. I also got a signed edition because I had to have it. But yeah, I think that she's a very intelligent woman, and I think that she went through some pretty horrible stuff, and I love to support her. So, and like I said, she's a fantastic writer. She is a very intelligent woman. So I highly recommend that. I highly recommend it, especially if you are a woman, and I think that that's, it really captures what we go through and our struggles. I just think it's amazing. And then I did a reread on these two, You and Hidden Bodies. I'm just going to cover them both in one because they're the series, book 1, book 2. I plan on reading book 3 and book 4 next month if my book comes in for book 4. I don't have that one yet. So if I get it for February, that would be great. I plan on reading it, but if not, that's okay. But I did decide to reread these because I have read them previously. I'm sure you've heard of You, and now it's a Netflix series, and I'm rewatching the series as well because I wanted to pick up, because I know that this year we are supposed to be getting a prequel book for You, and I'm very intrigued by how that's going to go. These both still stand at a steady 4 stars. Basically, they follow Joe Goldberg and his obsession with you. And it's told from his perspective, and he's like, I'm watching you, I see you. And yeah, it leaves us on some cliffhangers. I think that it's going to be that way with the entire series until it wraps up. But it was a good series, and I do plan on carrying on with it so that way I can see the full thing through. I do think it gets a little repetitive, but it is really good. And I do think it can be a little long, and some parts could be like, gone, but they're very good. So those are what I read for January. I did just finish this today. Today's February 3rd. I think it's 3rd. But it's Doesn't Hurt by H.D. Carlton. I will bring this up in my wrap-up video, but this was one of the books that I planned to read for February. Well, I started it in January, so I plan to finish it anyway. basically another dark romance. The girl, her name is Sawyer and Enzo, and they end up crashing. Right, I don't want to say too much, but basically they're out at sea, and they're at a lighthouse, and it's a dark romance. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil anything. And I haven't even reviewed it yet. And then the rest of the books I plan to read this month are right here. I plan on reading Lolita. I've been listening to the audio. I think I'm about 2 hours in. I don't know much about it. I just know that the Jeanette McCurdy book was inspired by Lolita, and I know that a lot of other books and a lot of movies have been inspired by Lolita. So I wanted to read this so that I could truly understand the inspiration. And I know it's going to be a hard book. I know I have an idea on the subject matter, but I don't know entirely. I just know it's going to be a little bit of a challenging read, and that it's inspired a lot of things today. So I wanted to kind of pick it up, and because it's been on my shelves forever, because I know that it's a classic and people have used this as inspiration for many things. So I wanted to get into that. All I really know is it says on the back, I'll read the back of the book in case nobody's understood it, but basically Lolita, oh, it doesn't even say it, tells the story aging Humbert Humbert's obsessive, devouring, and doomed passion for a nymphet, Dolores Hayes. Most of all, it's a meditation on love as an outrage and hallucination, madness and transformation. So that's all I really know on that. I do plan to read these books as well. So I also have Hidden Pictures by Jason, I don't know how to say that, Reckleck? It's a horror. I planned on reading this because I needed a book with a silhouette, and I felt that kind of covers silhouette to me. So I wanted to read it. I don't really know what it's about. I just know it's a horror novel and that it meets my challenge. I bought it, I think, 2 years ago. So I know I bought it because I wanted to read it. And so I was like, you know what? This will work. And that's really all there is to that. I have, right here, I have the third book in You series. As you know, the Joe Goldberg. I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't read it, but I do plan on reading the third book in that series. Like I said, if I get the fourth book, I plan on that. And then the next, H.D. Carlton. And then I'll have read all her books because her new one comes out this year as well. So this one, I have no idea what happens in Shallow River. All it says is, Shallow Hill is where souls suffer slow and miserable deaths. And then on the cover, she cut deeper than he ever could. And that's all I know. So I'm going in pretty blind on this, which I'm excited for. Yeah. So I'm going in pretty blind on a lot of these, actually, which I kind of prefer to go in blind, and that's why I'm not giving too many details on the books. Like, I'm not going to read the synopsis of Hidden Pictures because I don't want to know. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to know. Because going in blind, I feel like I'm more like, oh my God, caught off guard by things. Whereas sometimes in synopsis, they give away too much information. So this is my reading plans for the month. That's what I read last month. And I've given you guys some ideas on my channel updates. And let me know any beer recommendations for the Winking Lizard beer tour. If you guys are on the tour, that'd be cool. Let me know any reading recommendations. Oh, and there's one more thing, my buzzword. So my buzzword for February is supposed to be a keyboard key. All I have in mind is interesting facts about space. But if you guys can think of anything else, because I'm not really sure I'm sold on reading that one, let me know in the comments below, because that would be really awesome. I would really like to find something else, because like I said, I have it, I've wanted to read it, but I'm not in the mood for it. So I would like to see what other recommendations you guys could come up with for that. And also, if you guys want, I don't know, any other kind of videos, let me know. But that's all I've got for today. I will see you guys next time. Bye.